Healing changes everything, including how people see you. Not because you become someone new, but because you stop playing the role they built their comfort around. Nothing screws with a system faster than someone who stops performing their part. You stop apologising for existing. You stop shrinking to keep the peace. You start saying no without guilt. And suddenly, the same people who said, "I just want you to be happy," start acting like you've joined a cult. They don't see healing. They see rejection. Because your peace exposes their chaos. And most people would rather you stay sick than question why they never healed themselves. Here's the truth. Most people don't want your growth. They want your consistency. They liked you better when you were predictable, when you absorbed their moods, laughed at their digs, and stayed small enough to keep the balance. You were the emotional buffer, the one who smoothed things over, apologised first, and said it's fine, even when it wasn't. That's what made you safe. Not because you were easy to love, but because you were easy to manage. Then you start healing, and the whole rhythm breaks. You stop cushioning blows that never should have landed. You stop laughing at jokes that were never funny. You stop making other people's feelings your full-time job. You stop being the unpaid therapist, the fixer, the one who takes the hit so everyone else can stay comfortable. And suddenly, the vibe shifts. The people who used to call you so understanding start calling you difficult. You say no once, and it sounds like rebellion. You stop explaining yourself, and they act like you've changed. They call it attitude. It's not attitude, it's balance. They just liked you better when you were unbalanced in their favour. Because when you stop playing small, it exposes the game. Your boundaries show them theirs don't exist. Your peace reminds them of the chaos they've normalised. Your honesty feels like attack because it makes their excuses sound weak. They won't argue. They'll just change tone. A pause where there used to be praise. A distance they pretend you're imagining. Not because you've become someone else, but because the version of you they could control doesn't exist anymore. And here's the part nobody likes to admit. We've all done it. You've done it. I've done it. Someone around you started growing and it made you uncomfortable. You liked them better when they needed you. That's how deep the conditioning runs. When you rise, their reflection changes, and that's what scares them. Don't take it personally. It's not really about you. It's about what you represent. Your healing is proof that change is possible, and nothing threatens a comfortable person more than proof. When you start to grow, it shines light into the corners they've avoided for years, the parts their entire identity depends on not seeing. Because if you can evolve, their excuses collapse. And that's not minor, that's identity death. Someone still surviving on denial will always experience your clarity as attack. When you outgrow the system that shaped you, you expose how fragile it really was. It's not hatred, it's self-preservation. You're not breaking a dynamic, you're threatening the ecosystem that keeps them safe. They don't want to face what they've normalised, so they rewrite the story. You've changed, you're difficult, you think you're better. That's not truth, that's deflection. Psychology calls it projection or identity threat. Real life calls it, I need to make you the problem so I can stay comfortable. When you step out of your old role, caretaker, scapegoat, emotional babysitter, you destabilise the system that kept everyone else steady. You were the emotional glue. Now you're the crack that proves the structure was already broken. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not just them. You've done it. I've done it. We've all punished someone else's growth because it made us feel stuck. The difference is, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you've healed enough to stop playing along, you become a walking reminder that they could too, but won't. Healing isn't about becoming some perfect, glowing version of yourself. It's about tearing down the fake versions you built to survive. And when that scaffolding starts to fall, people panic. Not because you've changed, but because your change exposes that they haven't. They'll call you cold, detached, ungrateful. But what they really mean is, you're no longer easy to control. Every system, families, friendships, workplaces, runs on unspoken contracts. You play the role they need you to play, and in return, you get acceptance. The fixer keeps everyone functioning. The peacekeeper absorbs the tension. The clown keeps the air light. The scapegoat takes the hit. When one person opts out, the whole cast loses its script. And instead of asking why those roles existed in the first place, they blame the one who walked off the stage. That's why your piece looks like provocation to people still performing. It forces them to see how much of their kindness was actually control. They'll say you've changed, you've become hard, you're different now. Translation: you stopped being a mirror they could like. Every healed person becomes a mirror, and mirrors make people nervous because they show you what's real, not what's rehearsed. And most people would rather smash the mirror than admit the reflection's theirs. The hardest part of healing isn't losing people. It's realizing you never really had them. You just had versions of yourself that kept them comfortable. They weren't attached to you. They were attached to the role you played. The soft version, the compliant version, the version that made them look better. Once you start changing, you stop being useful to their story. And that's when they disappear. You'll think you're losing everyone. You're not. You're just losing access to people who only showed up for the unhealed version of you. You can't take everyone with you. Not because you've outgrown them, but because they're addicted to the version of you that needed saving. Stop grieving connections built on your self-betrayal. They were never real, they were transactions. Their comfort came at the expense of your honesty. And now that you're honest, the deal's off. Let them go. Their discomfort isn't your job to soothe. Your clarity doesn't owe them comfort. At some point, you stop trying to explain your piece to people who only understood your chaos. Because one person choosing truth forces everyone else to face the lie. And most people will protect the lie because it's easier than starting over without it. Healing doesn't make you hard, it makes you honest. It's not cruelty they fear, it's honesty. Because honesty ruins the stories people tell to sleep at night. When you stop playing along, they have two choices: change or make you the villain for doing what they wouldn't. Your piece will piss them off. Do it anyway.